Hello and welcome to today's episode of pianoTV. I am Allysia, your host. I'm a little bit hoarse today, you'll have to forgive me. But I decided to hop on and do a quick Instagram Q&A. So those of you who are on Facebook and Instagram and stuff might have seen that I sent a shout out to ask me questions on Instagram. I do this kind of randomly, I never plan it. And I basically gave you 2 hours warning, so if you missed it, sorry, but you can follow me on Instagram and maybe you'll catch the next one. So it looks like I have, I don't know, like a dozen questions or so, maybe 2 dozen. I'm not going to do that many. I might have to pick and choose a little bit here. But yeah, let's just jump in. This one is from Stevie. Is it normal that I am bored to practice the piano? I've been playing for 11 years and I'm 18. What do you think? Is it normal to be bored practicing piano?
Yeah, especially when you do like scales and the important things that aren't as fun.
I'm fielding my questions. Yes, it is totally normal to be bored when you're practicing piano, like anything else. It's not like always going to be just like this roller coaster party fun time. It is work, and work can be, I always equate this to exercise. Going for a run always feels really good when you're finished, but sometimes like getting through it can be really, really hard. And a lot of people who enjoy running say like, oh man, I love running. It always makes me feel so good. And you just think, oh, well, running must be really, really fun then all the time. It must just be like hunky-dory. But it's a lot of grinding and a lot of work. And I feel like piano is the same way. Now, if you're like really bored and like every time you sit down, you feel like, and you don't ever get that like, oh, I'm sure glad I sat down and did that, like the reward at the end of the session, then you probably want to reevaluate what you're playing. Maybe you're not playing things that you're interested in. Maybe like people who tend to get bored at the piano tend to heavily focus on scales and stuff more than actual music. So if that's you, you might want to just try branching out. Or maybe you just have this secret desire to play Broadway musicals or jazz music or something like that. Maybe start exploring different genres or things that you want to play instead of what you think you should play. I only have like the first several characters of your guys' usernames. So this one is ethno-nationalism, I assume. And you are asking... Oh, I'm going to screenshot this first. There's a giant thing of my finger in that screenshot. Is Liszt's Le Jeu d'eau à la Villa d'Est? Sorry about that. I probably butchered that. The first impressionist piece ever written. I actually have no idea. I didn't know this Instagram Q&A was going to turn into a trivia session. Oh my goodness. Just drop the B. I'm just going to guess what your full username is. Favorite classical piece? That's Liszt Le Jeu d'eau à la Village d'Est. I'm going to pronounce that poorly. The one from the previous question reminded me that I really like... Hi, Jane. That I really like Jeu d'eau by Ravel. That's probably one of my favorite pieces of all time. But I might have had a different answer if I didn't have that question just before. But now that one's in my head. Yul Chen asks, who is your favorite composer? I don't know. It changes on kind of a daily basis. I tend to really gravitate towards Liszt, though. I really like him as a person, and I think he has a pretty diverse portfolio of music, especially for the piano, and I tend to be pretty partial to piano music. Go figure. I like piano music. I'm a piano teacher. Yul Chen also asks, how are you? I'm good. Thank you for asking. Actually, this next question is kind of funny based on what I was literally just saying. Andre... I think I lost the name already. Is it just me, or is Liszt's output for piano so much more varied than Chopin's? And I think that the answer to this question is yes, with an asterisk. Chopin died quite a bit younger than Liszt did. Liszt had like, I think 3 decades longer to explore music than Chopin did. So I think that's basically where it comes from. Chopin's output was like limited to, I think probably like a 20-ish year period, whereas Liszt was writing for like 40 or 50 years. And I think, yeah, that would be the biggest difference. But yeah, I do find his music to be more varied. Suda K asks, since you love cooking and food, have you considered being a chef? Funny you should say that. I actually went to culinary school. So yes, I have thought fairly seriously about being a chef in the past. I just hate the grunt work. I'm not into chopping 20 pounds of sweet potatoes at one time. It's not my favorite thing. But I really enjoy cooking at home. And I do that every day. Ich bin der Wuj. Should I practice 40 hours a day? Yes, you should. The Young List, hottest composer ever? Yes. Marjorie Darris, how do you organize your time to practice, work, read, cook, your baby, etc.? You do it all. Thank you. I try. I really do. The biggest thing that I have stopped doing is wasting time. And we waste time in about a million different ways, whether it's like random internet browsing, whether it's just, I don't know. I basically just prioritize the things that I need to do, and I don't waste time with things that aren't important. So my priorities are work, family, and reading, I guess. That's pretty much it. So I always make sure that I have time for doing those things every day. Piano kind of falls by the wayside. I tend to only practice 3 to 5 times a week. I haven't found a way to like really integrate that a lot, but I'm doing what I can. Yeah. I used to be on Reddit like, I don't know, probably like an hour or 2 every day though. Like cutting that out alone was huge. I just replaced that with reading books. The guy of the blah says, thoughts on Bella Bartok's Microcosmos? There's like 6 or 7 of them, I think. I don't overly love them. I don't think that they sound very musical. Like, I'd rather my students work on other Bartok music. I really like For Children 1 and 2. They are a little bit harder, and they're not like exercises per se, but I don't ever really teach people Microcosmos. I have mentioned it on this channel before, but like, it's not my favorite. Rich Brian, is your cat jealous of the new baby? Well, she's not really new anymore. She's like a year old, so the cat's pretty used to the baby by now. Jealous? No. I don't know what she is. She's like pretty indifferent to the baby, which is good. Like she doesn't try to attack her or anything. I don't know. They have a pretty amiable relationship. Jane chases the cat around the house and gets really happy, and the cat runs away and maybe is less happy. Rich Brian is also wondering, what do you do to inspire yourself to play piano when you feel burnt out? Usually I don't play the piano when I feel burnt out. I listen to music. And I listen to music that I really love or music that excites me. One thing that also fires me up too is going to concerts. It doesn't like whatever genre I'm in like it could be going to the symphony, but it also could be going to like a rock concert or something like that. And that usually fills me with this like inner fire of like, oh yeah, music is awesome. And then that inner fire then carries forward to go practice. Stevie is asking, when I play piano, I have my hands tightened and it hurts. Any advice? Don't play if it hurts. There's a few things that could be going on. You could be a postural issue. If your bench is too high or too low, it could put your hands your arms at a weird angle to the keys. And that could be as simple as the solution is. You could always like sit on a pillow or just like play around with bench height and stuff like that if you are able to. That's one thing. People who sit too close can have hand pain because you're kind of compressing your arms. So make sure you're far enough back that your arms are sitting down and not like kind of folding out like this. Another thing is you could just be pushing yourself too hard. Maybe you're doing too much like laborious work all at once. If you're doing some really intense, like, I don't know, maybe you're trying to play a really fast scale passage or something like that, you might only want to work on it in 2-minute increments and then stop, try it again, and then stop. Because the more we kind of push through the pain, the tighter and tighter we get, and the more likely it is that we're going to injure ourselves. So those are just a few ideas I have here. You can probably hear Jane like this whole time. She's kind of crawling around. My husband's out of town this week. So, yeah, I have my sister-in-law over trying to wrangle Jane as she crawls around the floor right now. That's why we're doing an Instagram Q&A this week, FYI. There are about like half a dozen-ish questions that I've not answered. Some of them were pretty much the same as questions that I already just answered, so I didn't want to like repeat myself too much. So sorry if I didn't get to them. Follow me on Instagram if you want, and you hopefully will see when the next random Q&A is. Thank you guys for asking the questions. I always get a little nervous when it's like, hey, Instagram Q&A time, and I get worried that I'm going to open it up, and hi Jane. I get worried that I'm going to open it up.
Oh no.
Here.
Let me have a baby.
Hi. I get worried that I'm going to open it up and there's going to be like one question. It's like, so thank you for not putting me in that awkward position, because I didn't want to talk about just one question well, I guess I could have talked about the culinary school question for like 2 hours. Actually, if you want to know more about that, I do have a vlog channel that I've kind of started sort of, posting on every couple weeks or so. And I do talk about my culinary school experience on that vlog channel. It's just Allysia Vlogs, so Allysia. And then vlogs. So if you want to learn more about my food past. What do you think, Jane? Time to wrap this up. You have hair on your face. This girl is almost 1 year old. You're an old baby. I know that light is really bright, isn't it? All right. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.
See you later, alligator.
Oh, good. I might have to turn that one off,
She
Jane.
knows what she's doing.
She does. She loves this thing.